everybody, it's Mandy. I know it has been a while. I did want to give everybody an opportunity to put any questions in that they wanted answered as part of the FlyLady series. So I am finally getting around to answering some of those questions, and just wanted to sit in my living room, peace and quiet. My mother-in-law actually took Xander to the park, which is perfect because I was planning on filming this today anyway, and I thought I'd have him running in and out. But now it's just going to be nice and quiet and just us today. So I'm going to pull up some of my questions that I found recently. I have some that were put in earlier. I have them written down as well, so I'll be like referencing both. So one question that I had is, I'm a FlyBaby. How long did she write for the morning and evening routine? I've been holding off buying the book, but now I'm thinking about it. Okay, for one thing, if you're thinking about buying the book, go ahead and buy the book. I got the book off of Amazon Kindle because I have the Kindle Unlimited subscription. So if you have that, you can actually get it for free as part of your subscription to that. Just an FYI, if you're like don't want to spend a bunch of money to get the book, you can do it that way, and she still gets proceeds from that as well. So you're still supporting the FlyLady at that point as well. You can also get the book off of Amazon or get it off of her website. So if you're thinking about buying the book, I would seriously buy it because she's got a lot of info in there. I tried to give my input as I went through the series, but also she gives her input on each of the steps as well. So I highly recommend getting the book. So how long did she write for the morning and evening routine? So the morning routine, she put down 15 to 20 minutes, and then for the evening routine, 5, 7, 8 minutes. So 8 minutes. So the evening routine's a lot faster, and I would agree with that. I think the evening routine was a lot faster during my filming of the series as well. But the morning routine, that's the one that takes a little while. It's the 15 minutes. And honestly, it took me longer, so I think I was more of the 20-minute time frame on mine. So just to give you an idea. Alright, the next question is, I've decided to buy the book today. Does it include the weekly home blessing options? Online, you learn after the baby steps. So because the fact this book is just covering the baby steps, no, it does not cover the weekly home blessing hour. However, I do plan on filming something that's going to cover the weekly home blessing hour later on. I just didn't include it in this series because it wasn't included in the book. Alright. Just wondering why you don't show the process of cleaning and decluttering. Okay. If y'all noticed on some of my videos were quite long. If I filmed actually doing the processes, it would take even longer. So, for example, just going through the basic steps that she says. Okay, so, morning routine, she says, is 15 to 20 minutes. So, automatically, that would be a 15 to 20 minute video. Nobody's going to watch past that, really. Before bed routine is 8 minutes. So, now we're at 28 minutes. Decluttering your home is 15 minutes or less than 45 minutes. So then we're like over an hour at that point. Because of the fact we decluttered several different ways. We did the 15-minute decluttering, we did the 5-minute room rescue, and then we did the hot spots. So 2-minute hot spot, 5-minute room rescue, 15 minutes. So that's 22 minutes as well. So basically for me to film one day would be 22 plus 8, so that'd be 30, plus 20 more would be 50 minutes per video. That's the reason why I don't film at all. So that's why, and plus, one thing I did notice is, there's some YouTubers out there that do clean with me videos, and they kind of speed it up and do the cleaning and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but my thing is, I was more of a visual person. I needed to see that it made a difference. And so because I saw that that wasn't being done that much in the YouTube world, I decided that I was going to make it like immediately you see what those minutes did for you. So that's why I show the before and then the after. because you immediately see what 2 minutes does. You immediately see what 5 minutes does. You immediately see what 15 minutes does. So I felt like it had more of an impact doing it that way rather than showing the whole entire process. Now I do break it up in some of my videos in my FlyLady series, not this one, but Cleaning the FlyLady Way. I have that as a playlist on my YouTube channel you can go back to, where I do kind of break down explaining how I'm doing each thing, and some of it I actually film the whole process of doing it. So there you go. As well as if you go to my KonMari series, I actually do kind of show me going through the decluttering process. I just kind of speed it up, kind of like how I was mentioning before. So I do have some videos that do that. I just didn't do it in the series because of the length that it would take. Hi, I wanted to ask, how do you do the sink maintenance? I got mine shiny, but what do you do after that every day for maintenance? Do you ever do the big cleaning again too? Thank you. Your videos are very informative and I love them. Thank you very much for those comments. So for my daily maintenance of my sink, and mine is a little different because of the fact it is a white sink, and so eventually it's going to show stuff no matter what I do. So for the daily cleanup, I just spray like Windex or right now we're using a multi-surface cleaner in our kitchen, so I spray some of that on the sink and I wipe it down, and that's my thing that I do every evening. So whenever you're seeing me do my evening routine, I've just done that. I've just wiped it down with that stuff. So it's just quick. It's similar to the kind of the swish and swipe in the bathroom. You just kind of do a quick swipe of your sink. So I do that every day. And then as far as a deep clean, yes, I do that because of the fact that my sink's white. Eventually I have to bleach it just to keep it white. And so whenever I do repeat those steps of the lengthier cleaning that I showed in my first video, but I don't do that often. Maybe once every 3 months. If we're having like a really bad time with our sink, then I may have to do it every month, but most of the time it's about every 3 to 6 months. I'm like extending that out every time I answer it. But yeah, it's about every 3 months on average, I would say. But I will say, whenever I lived at another house that didn't have a white sink, I didn't have to do that. So it's strictly doing the quick wipe down was all I needed to do to maintain it. So it really depends on the sink that you have. Okay, are you doing Dave Ramsey's baby steps to get out of debt? I'm hooked like KonMari. When something clicks and makes sense, I jump in with both feet. Maybe that's why FlyLady isn't clicking for me. Although I enjoy your videos and appreciate your sharing, I just can't do the 2-minute hotspot and such, I guess. Although I like creating routines and habits. Well, if you like creating routines and habits, I promise you would like the FlyLady if you actually started doing it. To answer your question about Dave Ramsey's baby steps to get out of debt, I'm doing something similar because I have listened to him in the past. I actually found him at work one day because we can listen to music while we work, and this was back whenever I was still in the office. I wasn't working at home then. And I had a radio, and I somehow stumbled upon his channel or his radio program that was on the station, and I listened to it, and I really liked it. What he was saying made complete sense to me. But the hard part is getting both spouses on board with that plan. And my husband does not like the fact of sacrificing that much to get out of debt quicker. So because of that, I did set aside some money in our finances to where I can put towards debt. And I stick with that budget, and then as we pay off debts, I add to that with the payments. So I'm kind of doing the baby steps in a weirder way, but it's something that works for me and my family, and for one thing, it works with me and my husband, so that my husband doesn't feel like we're sacrificing too much, because he wants the kids to have a good childhood and things like that. And we are getting out of debt now, and we're seeing some progress now along the way doing it that way. I've tried it different other ways in the past, and it didn't work for us. So I guess in a way I am, in a way I'm not. I'm kind of doing my own spin on that. Okay, my son's in here looking at me strange. I'm filming my Q&A video for the FlyLady.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Should I wait for you?
You can do what you need to do. They won't hear you, probably. If they do, he's cleaning up his part of the kitchen for his chores. I don't know if they can see you or not. Oh yeah, you probably can. So
I waved.
Yeah, he waved to y'all if y'all didn't see that. Y'all might have seen it though. I think so. Alright, so you totally called me out, LOL. I did watch a majority of your videos on FlyLady before I started, LOL. Well, I must say, I stole that one from the book. Today is technically my first day, but I am starting with day 5 since I am a student who is taking online classes at UNI. I don't know. Well, good job on starting classes. And I don't have much to do. I am happily married, but don't have any kids, and I don't have a car. Is it okay if I skip ahead? I have already deep decluttered my home on the KonMari method, so I don't have clutter. But I want my days to be more scheduled and my home to stay cleaner. Okay. I'll give you the FlyLady's answer, and then I'll give you my answer. So the FlyLady's answer is no, you cannot skip ahead. You need to go day by day because it's all part of building habits. And in a way, I do kind of agree with that. But if you've already decluttered using the KonMari method, then some of this it's to the point that you can kind of skip. Okay, so you're the exception to the rule is what I would say. But the important thing is instilling those habits and doing them day by day to make sure that they become habits and you don't just crash and burn. So that's the reason why she does it one thing at a time. But seeing how you've already gone through the KonMari process, I feel like you're a little different as a FlyLady, as a FlyBaby rather. So I don't think you're hurting yourself by skipping those days, but if you do find that you're having trouble sticking with the routines as habits later on, after you finish the 31 steps, you may need to redo them. So depending on how you feel about that, depends on where you're probably going to go with that. So personally, I kind of skipped some steps that my first time around, and I didn't stick with my routines. But this time around, I did. And so I found that starting with the basics helped. So my son just kicked me with a soccer ball. Okay, so that's all of my newer questions that I got. And now I'm going to go to the ones that I wrote down. Some of these may repeat, though, because I wasn't sure. So, will you be doing zone cleaning and decluttering? Okay, so zone cleaning I haven't done a video on yet. Mainly because in order to do zone cleaning, you have to have decluttered already. So I'm assuming you mean by going through each zone and decluttering as you're in each zone. And I didn't do that as part of the series again because it's not mentioned in the book. But I probably will in the future do that. But at the same time, I still prefer the KonMari method of decluttering than I did the FlyLady method of decluttering because of the fact it bugged the tar out of me whenever I would do a declutter box or something like that and I wasn't finished with it and I wanted to finish what I was doing. And I know FlyLady would sit there and say, that's your perfectionism. I understand that, but also I'm one of those that likes to see progress, and to do it that way, I feel like the KonMari method does that better. That's just my opinion. Other people will have different opinions. And honestly, I feel like you can kind of intermingle both, but to try to stay true to the FlyLady method and what she's doing, I may do a video on it just to show how that would look like, but that's not how I'm going to do it in my home, for the long run anyway. I have done it previously though, and you do make some progress, but I still feel like KonMari's method of decluttering by item type makes more sense, because then you see how much of one item you have, whereas if you're decluttering room by room, you don't see that because you're only seeing the types of each thing in that room. Just my thought on it. Again, other people will probably disagree, but that's what I think. Okay, the other question was about how long for the morning and evening routine. I already said that. So how do you stay on track? Honestly, you have to make a decision to stay on track. So it isn't easy, and I'm sure this is tying more into motivation, like how do I stay motivated to do it. And some days it's hard. Even through the process of taping this video series, it was hard to do it sometimes, because sometimes I just was not feeling up to it. I was exhausted. And if that's the case, then sometimes you just got to give yourself a break. I mean, just like the FlyLady says, you've got to love yourself. You've got to give yourself a break sometimes. And so, yeah, some days you can skip. And then you just pick up right where you left off. Just like in the series, part of it was filming a day where I did skip a day. And then I'm coming back in and doing it from there on. And it shows you that even if you skip a day, you can come right back into your routine, start right back where you left off, and within a few days, it's right back to normal again. So, that and other ways that I stay motivated in a weird way is I'll watch other people on YouTube cleaning, which y'all can probably relate because y'all are watching me clean, right? So I liked watching people clean. Not necessarily that like I'm watching how they're doing it, but like I'll have it on, like the volume, but then I'll be cleaning something else. And because they're cleaning at the same time I'm cleaning, I feel like I'm not by myself, and so it kind of helps a little bit. So that's another way that I stay motivated. And then another thing that I do to try to stay motivated is I try to visualize what that area is going to look like when it's done, instead of freaking out about everything I'm seeing right in front of me at that point. Because my thing is I tend to get a lot of overwhelm feelings whenever I'm looking at a cluttered place, whenever I'm going about cleaning it up. Now, that's what's weird, is like, it doesn't bother me at the time whenever I'm sitting here and cleaning, not whenever I'm sitting here and cleaning, when I'm sitting here and there's clutter around me, that doesn't bother me, but it bothers me whenever I'm sitting there in front of a bunch of clutter and I have to clean it, and I have that momentous thing in front of me that I have to do. That is whenever I tend to lose my motivation. And so I've learned, because of that is one of my problems. I've learned that just take a deep breath and just start with one thing, which is kind of the thing that the FlyLady teaches you, is start with something small. So if it is that bad, then I'm like, you know what? FlyLady says I can do anything for 2 minutes. So if it's that overwhelming for me, I will start and say I'm only going to do it for 2 minutes. And then a lot of times what will happen is after the 2 minutes are over, I'll still be wanting to clean, and so then I just won't stop. I'll just keep finishing, keep going until I'm finished, and keep going through all the different routines that day until I'm finished. Honestly, the hardest thing is getting started. That's how it is for me. So if you can get yourself to go, most of the time it's easy to keep going. It's just getting yourself to go. Now, on days that I'm too tired, I just give myself a break. And I take it as, apparently my body is exhausted and I need to rest. Because honestly, if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of my family and my home. So, you can figure out which one it is. Are you tired because you just don't want to do it? Or are you tired because you're physically tired? If you're physically tired, give yourself a break. If you're tired because you just don't want to do it, try to find ways of getting yourself at least to get started. Also, FlyLady has several different games to declutter and things like that. Find different things like that to do. Like, she's got FlyLady Bingo sometimes on her Facebook page, where you try to get through certain things that are assigned or something like that. I don't really know. I haven't ever played it. I'd see it on there, but I don't really know how it works. But I know it's a way of getting motivated. Another way is find one of your friends that also needs to clean their home and say, hey, let's go do this right now. And go do it. And then another thing that I use a lot of times is if I can't get going, I'll get music going. And the music will kind of get me going with it too. One of the other things when it comes to music as well is I did kind of like the FlyLady songs that were on her radio show. She's got like little CDs that you can get on her website, or at least you could before. That's got some music that's specifically targeted towards cleaning and things like that. So if you find that, you know, those things, even though they're cheesy, they kind of get you going, and it's all about cleaning, and so it's keeping your mind on the fact you need to clean and that it can be fun and things like that. So if you're one of those people that likes the cheesy music, get the DVD, I keep saying that, get the CD and get that moving with you and things like that. So if anything, I'll start singing those goofy songs to myself if I need to get started. So that's what works for me. I don't know what'll work for y'all, but that's what works for me. It's silly, I know, but that's what it does. Okay, and then it's kind of the same thing as how do you keep motivated. Now, I just answered that one as well. All right, does the book include weekly home blessing hour? I answered that one already. I have a full-time job. You get home at 7 p.m. How do I incorporate this method in my life? Okay, honestly, I'll be completely honest with you. It's going to be hard. Okay, when I worked outside of my home, it was difficult for me to keep my home up. In fact, I just didn't do it. I was too daggum tired when I got home or anything like that. But there is ways to do it. You just gotta, you're going to be one that's really going to have to stay motivated. That would be my biggest thing, is figure out what motivates you and use that to do these routines. So for one thing, you're going to have to get up earlier and try to get some things done. Get your morning routine done before you go to the office. Okay, so if that means getting up before everybody else in the house, you need to do that. Okay, and then whenever you come home, because of the fact you didn't get to do your afternoon routine because you're getting home so late, you're going to have to kind of do your afternoon and evening routine together. So I would say start out small. So start out doing just one thing for your morning routine, one thing for your evening routine when you get home, and gradually build on each sides of that. So gradually add a second thing to your morning routine, add a second thing to your evening routine, add a third thing, add a third thing. Keep going like that until you feel like you've got a good balance there. But also, because of the fact you're not at home as much during the week, that means you're going to have to use the weekends to do some of this work as well. Okay? So anything that you weren't able to get to during the week, try to do that during the weekend. It shouldn't be to the point that it's taking you all weekend to do these things. If it is, then maybe you need to scale back a little bit and do a little bit more during your week. But it can be done. It's just for you, it's going to be a slower pace than somebody that's home all day and can do these things, okay? But it is doable. You just got to start small and figure out how to incorporate each piece into your schedule, okay? That's my best advice for you, honestly. I do feel for you, especially the fact you're going to be getting home so late. I don't know what time you go into the office, so if you do have more time, like say you work, you get off at 7, but you come in you go in at like 10, then get up at 6. You got 4 hours before you have to be at work, you know, something like that. Figure it out to juggle your day out. Like whenever I was going to college, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to start work. So that way I would get off at 1, then I could study, and then have time with my family, because I didn't want my studying to be happening when my family's home. So whatever you need to do to make things work for you, it really just depends on how motivated you are and how much you feel needs to be done with your home. Okay, and give yourself some patience. Give yourself time to add those things to your routine. So if you find that you keep adding too many things and you're not getting it all done because you're too tired, then scale it back and say, okay, I'm going to do these 2 things, one thing in the morning and one thing in the evening, and stay focused on that for a whole entire month before I add anything. If you have to do it that slow, do it that slow. It's okay. There's no wrong way or right way to do the FlyLady method. Okay? So if you need to give yourself more time to get it done and to make it a habit, then do it. All right. Will I continue my routines after the series? Honestly, I haven't. Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest, because I've been honest throughout this whole series, so I'm going to be honest now. Nope, I have not continued it past my series. Did I have the intention of doing it? Yeah, but okay, several things have happened during the time I was filming the series, for one thing. So during the time I started filming the series, my mother-in-law came to live with us permanently. So she moved all of her things here. She is here. She likes to do dishes. I kept fighting with her during the process of the FlyLady series to try to get the dishes done, because for the sake of getting the series filmed. I know this sounds silly, but that's what I did. So since then, I have stopped and let her have the dishes. So she's doing the dishes. Is she doing it the same way I would like it done? No. But are the dishes getting clean? Yes. Is the sink getting shined every night? No. But do I have a big old pile of dishes in my sink every night? No, I don't. So I'm letting it go. So basically, she's doing the day-to-day things when it comes to the dishes and kitchen. I'm going to be doing more of the detailed cleaning when it comes to that kind of stuff, okay? So, also, sometimes, I mean, she's being a great help. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it. And sometimes I'll put in a load of clothes in the wash, and she'll pull them out of the dryer and fold them up for me. Again, not necessarily the way I'll fold them, but she'll do it, and she's helping me out, and I'm not going to complain about that. So it's been a great help. So those kind of things has kind of changed up, and honestly, because they changed up, it kind of threw me off of my routines to where I'm just basically still doing my load of laundry a day. But that is honestly about it. Okay? So, and then I already kind of mentioned the decluttering method and things like that, and how I still feel like the KonMari method is better for me. So I am going back to the KonMari method to finish decluttering the house. So, and then not only that, when we were going through my mother-in-law's stuff, because she moved everything up here, we put it all into a shed. Now we're going through some of the stuff in the shed, and it all got brought in the house. And so because of that, the house was total chaos. And my problem is, whenever things like that happen around here, I stop everything. Is that the right thing to do? No. Is that what FlyLady teaches you? No. But I'm being honest, and because I'm just, there you go. I'm just going to tell you. There was literally pathways. We had pathways in our house on where to walk. We had so much stuff in here at one point. We've gone through it and made more of a method to the madness now, and we can now walk, and I have my living room back and that kind of thing, but it did take some time. And so because of the fact it took time, I kind of fell off the FlyLady bandwagon, even though I know she says it's not a wagon to fall off of. And does that mean that I'm forever never going to do FlyLady's routines? No. I'll probably go back to it, and probably pretty soon, to get my house back in order. So I'm kind of going to do it that way, to where I'm still going to do her routines besides the kitchen. I'm letting my mother-in-law have the kitchen, and then I'll just focus on my routines around the house with everything else. So I probably will end up going back to it. It's just I fell off for a little while, and I'm just going to be honest with that. Okay. Day-to-day sink maintenance, I answered that one, and that is it. So that is all of the questions. So some updates on what I'm going to have on my channel. So obviously we finished the FlyLady series, but there are some things that the FlyLady, that book did not cover, that I still want to cover in my Cleaning the FlyLady Way series. So one of those is putting together your control journal. So whenever I was filming that day where you put your control journal together, I stopped at a certain point because that's where she kind of wanted you to stop. But I didn't realize it the first time, so I kept going. So I've already kind of filmed some of that as well. So I'll finish filming that and have that up as a video for you all, for those that want to finish your control journal, doing it the way that the FlyLady recommends. The weekly home blessing, I do plan on filming a video on that at some point. First, I got to get my house a little bit more in order to be able to do a weekly home blessing because, like I said, with all the chaos that ensued, wasn't able to do that. And then zone cleaning, I will show at some point in time. That one's probably going to take a little while though. To show how you declutter through your zones, and then how you clean in those zones. So cleaning would have to go after I'm completely done decluttering my home, which will take a long time. My home is crazy because it seems like as soon as I get things decluttered, more things come in somehow. Like this last time, it's my mother-in-law's stuff. A time before that, it was things with my daughter, and it just seems like every single time we're planning on some big change in the house, and so it changes everything. Oh yeah, the one before that was we ended up rearranging the kitchen, which caused chaos in my kitchen, which y'all will see here pretty soon because the place that I'm going to declutter next in the KonMari series is going to be my kitchen. So stay tuned for that video as well. So, and that video series. So decluttering my kitchen will be the next thing, or kitchen items, I should say, because it's not necessarily that it's in the kitchen. Most of the time it is though for my house. So, and there you go. So anyway, I'm drinking my water, by the way. I'm doing very well with that. I'm actually off of caffeine completely. That's a change since my series. I am trying to get healthier, and I'm doing it a little bit at a time, a very little bit at a time. I'm basically taking the baby steps that I learned from the FlyLady series and transforming it into health. So I'm taking one thing at a time. So I did the boot camp, the fitness boot camp that I did during the filming of the FlyLady series, and I did finish that out. I didn't get the results that I wanted to get though. I was kind of disappointed. So I did thin out, but I built up a bunch of muscle, so I didn't see like the number on the scale drop, but I knew I was healthier and I did feel stronger. But just like the FlyLady series, I didn't stick with it after the boot camp was over. And so I found myself sedentary again, and I'm like, I'm not feeling well and things like that. So I said, you know what, enough is enough. Maybe I just need to take it one thing at a time to where I'll stick with it. So that's what I'm doing. So I started out by getting rid of Diet Coke, and I'm drinking water now, completely water. Every now and then I'll drink a Sprite or a caffeine-free Diet Coke, but I'm completely off of caffeine because of the fact I was having blood pressure issues, and I know that that can be affected by caffeine. So I wanted to totally rule that out as a factor. And then the second thing that I did, because my work was doing a challenge to eat more fruits and vegetables. So because of that, some of my coworkers mentioned drinking green smoothies. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Putting fruit with spinach, that's strange. No, I'm not going to do that. That's too strange. Mm-mm. And then finally, enough had been enough. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try drinking this green smoothie and let's see what happens. And it was delicious. And I noticed one thing, that I always get like an afternoon slump at work. It never fails. Around 2, 3 o'clock, I am just plumb exhausted. Don't want to finish up my work day, but I've got to because I still got more work to do. And so I learned that if I drink my green smoothie, it helps with that. So I drink one a day now. So it's got spinach, strawberries, banana, almond milk, and a little bit of honey in it. And it's delicious. I had to put stevia in it to begin with because I was just paranoid, but then I learned I didn't need it after all. And so I gradually cut back on it to where I don't even have that in it at all. So the only sweetener that's in it besides the fruit is the stevia. Is the honey. I'm not doing the stevia anymore. Is the honey. And then the third thing I decided to do was walk. So my thing is I need to get more exercise, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to start one thing at a time. So I'm going to start with 5 minutes this week. So I've been walking 5 minutes a day, each day of the week, this week. Next week I'll up it to 10. The next week I'll up it to 15. The next week I'll up it to 20 until I get to 30 minutes a day. Because my doctor said if I walk 30 minutes a day, it will help with my blood pressure as well. So, okay, I will do that. So those are the things that I'm changing health-wise to try to become healthier as well, because I know some of y'all were concerned about that as well. And I do appreciate all the comments that y'all had during the time that all that was going on, because it was a really crazy time. It's like I planned to do this whole series, and then all this chaos was happening around me. So my mother-in-law moving in, and like I said, I do enjoy her being here. She helps me with Xander. She helps me with the house. It's fantastic. We get along well and everything. And then the other thing was my health was going cuckoo with this blood pressure issue. I am on some blood pressure medicine now that's keeping it leveled out, but there are still some health steps I need to do as well to help with that, as well as I know I'd mentioned way when I started this channel that I was borderline pre-diabetic. I have to go back next month and get retested to see what that means, if I'm going to be pre-diabetic this time around or if I'm going away from that. So we will see what the numbers end up saying. So that is all that is. So that is what's coming up. I'll take y'all along with all of that and give you updates on it as I can. But that is it. So that is all the questions that y'all had. Thank you all again for giving me questions to answer. Because I had a feeling there would probably be some during this process, even though a lot of them are, what do I do? But I appreciate it. It gives you some more insight from somebody that's following the steps in the real life and doing them. But just like everybody else, I kind of fell off of it for a little while with the house being in chaos. But it is getting back into order, and through the process of the KonMari method, I'll probably get back into my FlyLady things, because the KonMari tends to motivate me more as well and makes me want to get the whole house clean. And my problem before is I was solely doing KonMari or solely doing FlyLady, and I just feel like they can kind of all go together, and you can do both. So that's what my goal is to do, and so we will see how that pans out. And I'll film it as I go along. So I hope y'all enjoyed this series. This is the close of this FlyLady series, the 31 baby steps. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do hope that if you followed through with all of these days and all of the steps, that you do see great progress in your home. I hope that you're proud of your home, and I do hope that you continue along with the routines if you found them helpful to you. Alright, so I am going to let you all go. Y'all have a good rest of your day, and get your cleaning done. Your home will be happy, and your family will be happy as well. Have a good one, everybody.